Mate, what is with all these NRL fantasy podcasts? They all sound the fucking same. Welcome to the echo chamber.
Welcome to round 19, where it's the end of the origin period, except it's not, and it's run home, except it's not. And there's a billion things to talk about this week, so help me talk about them, Rudely. How you going?
Oh, mate, pretty shit, to be honest. I can't decide what I'm more disappointed in, whether it's my fantasy team or my actual team, the Sharks. That's a joke, by the way. It's clearly the Sharks.
They just like to go, no, there's no problem. Let's just name the same team. But we'll get into that soon. How'd you go last week? Did you have to play 12, 11 even? Far out. The late outs were killer.
Yeah, I know I've been MIA a couple of weeks now. The last 2 weeks have been pretty dire for me. I had to field one less in both round 18 and 17. So I've slid down all the way to an overall rank of 2,600 now, which isn't great. Just didn't have enough senses last week, which is really what did me in.
Oh, mate, don't get me started. That was half of my problem. I bought blinking Kane Bradley because I couldn't buy any centers. I bought Kiraz, I bought Bird, and they were both missing.
Yeah, I bought in Bradley just to have one playing because I had none to play to start with.
Oh.
I was praying that they were just going to give Aitken his DPP a few weeks early because I needed something.
It was pretty shocking to be honest. Oh, well, and then it wouldn't have mattered anyway because he didn't play far out.
He didn't end up playing either.
I got hit by a bit of carnage with that. I ended up making 3 trades instead of 1 to field 12, which is disgusting. But I mean, what can you do? Yeah, so I got Katoa, Feketi, and Bradley, and 2 of those 3 were pretty good, and Bradley was pretty But I mean, he was a number.
Oh, mate, I don't quite understand how I thought Bradley was the solution to my problems, especially when I've got Jed Stewart sitting in wing fullback as well. Man, the cash outs for centre and wing fullback have been pretty dire the last 2 weeks. And then you look to try and find the saviour in old Kiraz, and Kiraz is fucking gone to 18th man. It was just terrible.
It was. How you going, Bryce? Last minute hop on. We're complaining about how everybody was out last week. Did you end up fielding a full 13?
No, mate. I only end up with 12. You and me are like joined at the hip right now, Scoop.
It's so funny.
We are like 1 point apart, and it's been like that for a couple of weeks now. So, it was 709 or something for me with 12, which wasn't too bad. I still made ranks, so there must have been some people out there that had just absolutely abysmal weeks for us to get that.
If you look on yet another fantasy stats site, the top 1,000, before it updates with the new week and kicks out the bottom guys, it had some guys who were scoring about 350, 400 points. I know a couple of people in here ended up getting really knocked around by it, but nothing that low.
Yeah, Cos and Phil both ended up with sub 600 scores, so wasn't the best for them.
No, it was pretty yuck. But while we're talking about points, we may as well talk about Ham, who said we have to talk about his massive quote-unquote score last week, King of the Week. I think he got about, what was it, 814 or something?
813.
813, but that's enough for what we need to talk about is Jay-Z. He's still absolutely killing it, mate.
Yeah.
That's the big story.
He had Tarpney, Preston, and still only lost like 1 rank or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what was funny to me was when we were talking about Preston and how bad Preston was doing, and he comes out with I've looped him. I was just like, this motherfucker, bro. Who the fuck loops Preston? Like, it didn't end up working because the injury stuff later on in the weekend. But he had it set up.
He's cheating somehow. I don't know how, but he's cheating.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no way someone can be beating me. It's impossible.
Next week, this week or something, he's going to buy somebody like a Nick Meaney out of nowhere, and it'll just be like, oh yeah, they scored 90 points. Of course they did.
Well, the people who brought Meany in last week ended up getting a 90. So it was
He
proper hectic.
needs a Meany or a Weeks or something type score, and then he's like back up, right up with first, and that's all it'll take.
Well, First had a bad week apparently. Apparently, First didn't do very well at all. So,
First is now fourth, and the new First is how many points in front? About 170. So that's not impossible.
Yeah. So I think he's still well and truly for the shout. I think he's got big moves coming the next couple of weeks as well. He's still sitting on about five or so trades. So he's doing well.
Huge for him.
What trades are you doing this week, Scoop?
Oh, I'm sitting until after Origin. I might hold this week because I've got a strong starting 13, and I don't know if I really can improve it that much by jumping early. So I might sit, but I'm going to watch very closely with what happens with Cleary, because there's a decent chance that I might even try Dylan Edwards, and I'll talk about that later.
Ooh. So I'm considering. Well, I'm not considering. I'm going to get rid of Bird because he ended up being a dud. I'm going to cash down Bird to like a hunt, and then I'm going to get Herbie. I'm just going to pay the premium and just get him.
Yeah, that's the question for the few non-owners like us. It's like, do you go against him now with the cheaper guys and hope that it matches for cheaper, or do you just pay up? Because he's scoring like 70 with no tries. It's stupid.
Yeah, I'm just going to pay up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my plan was always to sell Nawa to him, but now Nawa's caught fire and they're just giving him everything and it's just working. So,
well, I'm going to use Garrick.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Anything else before we start off, or shall we kick off with rudely complaining about the Sharks again?
Go, Ridley. Tell us about your 20-man roster.
Oh man, fucking! I think you guys have been lucky. I haven't been on this pod for a couple of weeks now, and I haven't given them a good fucking bathe. Seriously, what the fuck are they doing down in the Shire? They've named the same fucking squad again. As you say, Bryce, they must be running a 20-man roster, but they don't have fucking the other 10 players. It's the same fucking players running out week in, week out, and underperforming. I don't understand what the fuck Fitzy's got going on his head. He spends the last game the Sharks played in the fucking press conference saying Hines isn't a fullback. He hasn't played there for 5 years. Well, he's not a fucking halfback either. He's not doing jack shit during the games where we're cutting it close. And I don't understand why Atkinson's back on the fucking bench when he adds literally no fucking value. Oh my god. We need to put Talakai back to the bench as the 14, and we need to be playing fucking Gabriel, who's sitting in the goddamn fucking reserves instead of at center. The big issue the Sharks have at the moment is they're going to fail to retain any of their young and up and comers because they're simply not giving them a chance or even a fucking pathway to first grade. The Sharks currently have a backline crisis because they've had so many fucking injuries, and it's starting to heal now. But we haven't debuted a fucking single backline player in Gabriel, in Valea, who are both who are fucking breaking down the door in New South Wales Cup and Jersey Flag.
Yeah,
and that's before we even get to the fucking halves issue, and with the guns we have coming through in Puru and fucking Pollard, who are refusing to get fucking given a shot. I don't actually. I'm so fucking mad with this club, and I don't see what the fuck they're doing or what their plan is. And I think that they're going to get a 50 bomb put on them this week, and I'm going to be fucking happy about it. Just going to finally tell everyone that Fitzgibbon is a fucking fraud.
Yeah, right. I think you win this week.
Imagine you come out and say all that huge rant, justified for most of it, and then they win. That'll be the funniest thing alive.
I think that's what's going to happen. I'll be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised to win. I think they probably should. They will win, but they need to fucking get a bomb put on them.
Yeah,
because it's just going to keep fucking fueling Fitzgibbon's delusion that this is currently okay and what he's doing is okay.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Dolphins with Sean O'Sullivan coming there. I think, how many times has he played with ICAT? Only a few, right?
He did when ICAT was a bit younger, but he hasn't for a little bit now.
ICAT was the 6th at that point. He was he was the dominant ball player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this combination actually works with Sean actually having to take a little bit of a backseat to Isaiah. Maybe it frees up Sean, right? If he can come out and play just his normal running game. But I've always seen O'Sullivan as like a director. Maybe this frees up Isaiah to get more run meters. I don't actually know. So I'm a little bit interested to see that in this game. Your
You imagine
team,
you'll
though,
see a downtick in ICAT's scoring for this game, I think.
maybe kick meters will go down, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, a little bit of kick meter reduction, and then we'll see what change in attack happens. Although, I mean, he gets so much attack already. That's why he's scoring well. He's got no goals. He doesn't have huge run meters or tackle breaks. It's all about the assists and the tackles and the kicking.
And he'll probably
Yeah.
get a bunch of them this game.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hmm.
I don't think there's anybody really else is apart from Herbie, who I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy. I'm trading Garrick.
Yeah.
I think that's just a solid upgrade. I've got the money sitting there, so
I think it's a good call. I've been a Herbie hater for a fair while until I eventually had to bite the bullet and get him during the Origin period. And man, he's an easy hold when you have him, and a fucking stressful watch when you don't.
Yeah. Agreed. I don't think there's really anybody else I'd be looking to buy. I mean, Nico Hines is sub 600k and their draw home is amazing, but Nico Hines has got tricky trindleitis and doesn't demand any ball when he wants it.
Or was he fucking doing anything with the ball?
Yeah.
What about Fanua Blake?
I like his minutes, but his output seems to have dropped off a little bit. I'm wondering whether he's sort of just holding back a tiny bit so that he can stay on the field longer and be the senior head. Because what do his minutes look like? So last week was the first time he's dipped under 60 minutes in a month,
Yeah, that's
and only the
last,
second time since round 11. But he only got
last
47.
last
What
week
was that?
they actually ran a 4-forward bench,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, okay.
is the concern I'd have is that you'd imagine and such pray that Fitzgibbon is eventually going to wake up and realize Atkinson is a useless fucking 14, and they need to run the 4-forward bench with Talakai acting as a 14. At which point you're going to see a reduction in AFB's minutes again.
Yeah.
Like you have to think should be an inevitable outcome, but so I'd be hesitant to be buying AFB at this point if you don't already own them.
Mate, I thought an inevitable outcome was Horse playing game 3, and it didn't happen, mate. So
I did say pray for this one, mate. Fitzgibbons obviously doesn't know what a
Fucking
fucking
hell.
bench is meant to look like.
he's about as good as picking his side as that's what fucking. Anyway, we'll see. Games tomorrow night.
Yeah.
He might come out and shock us, right?
It's
Hope
gonna
not.
be an absolute career game from like some random bloke, and it'll save us all.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If he wins, he's obviously, we spoke about it a little bit. If he wins, he's going to be the greatest coach, right? Or they spoke about it last week's pod. If he wins, he's going to be the greatest coach. And if he loses, he's just going to have to hand over the reins and go coach fucking Perth Bears or something.
Perth Bears has got a coach, mate.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Al, isn't it?
They got
Yeah.
they got a mentor.
Oh,
I don't know how much of a coach he is.
I know which way.
He's like one of them guys that gets the guys, he gives a big inspirational speech. From what I understand, I don't know how much coaching here it is.
I don't know how much coaching Fitzgibbons is doing either. So
Oh, that's true, mate. Knights and Storm. You guys buying Fletcher?
I would if I hadn't already dumped money out of my team with other duds. Look, he's probably good. What's he priced at? Is he still real cheap?
Yeah, 230. He's basement.
Oh,
He's like
230,
236.
sick. Yeah, I actually don't mind that then. He's not ever really going to feature in your team unless drastic horribleness happens. Their draw is pretty disgusting for the next month, so it's not my favorite pick to actually play for you. But as a cash out and somebody that's an actual green dot, there's not going to be many safer ones for now, I would imagine, considering both Sharp and Ponga are out.
Yeah. He's basically coming in just for me to just free up money that I wasted on Bird.
Yeah, if you need a cash
Um,
out, I think Fletcher is a great one to go for. But I personally don't need him because I've got the absolute weapon that is Jed Stewart.
who?
Let's go.
The two try 23.
Oh man, it's good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, there's some interesting cash outs going around. Hopefully he's not another one because they've got Melbourne, Warriors, Canberra, bye, Penrith, coming up, and then the run home's okay, but I don't know. Could be
His
some.
one game at fullback, he got 39, I think. Or was it 29? And it was in like just a nothing game against somebody. I'm trying to find him.
Yeah, I clicked on the wrong Fletcher.
Yeah, he went.
Yeah, okay, so 29 versus the Roosters in round 15.
Yeah, he got 150 run meters, but that's all you like. That's all you need. He's priced at 17, so if he could get 25 to 30 points a week, he's going to make you money. He's a full cash out.
Yep.
I'm happy
Yeah, I don't mind that.
because there is no Ponga. Ponga's gone for the season. Fletcher Sharp's probably not going to come back. He's probably gone for the season. I don't think
Yeah.
they got anybody else apart from a 40-year-old Dane Gagai.
Yeah, and with the position on the ladder, they don't really need to rush them back anyway. It's like Titans trying to rush Keanu Keeney back. I don't really see why you'd need to do something like it.
Well, they don't want a wooden spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'd be rushing whoever I could back in the Titans because they need some help.
Leo Thompson's back
Pappenhausen.
though.
Yeah, they got some good ins. Like Fazell back to lock. Finally, not playing him as a prop is really good. So
that did
for a long time,
scupper the Jaden Brayley hooker though, which is interesting.
It did. Wonder if it actually stays like that. He done so well at hooker.
Yeah, and he's always really good there. It just only ever seems to be for like 6 to 8 weeks at a time, or not even that. Because otherwise, he'd be somebody that we just plonk in our team, especially in this time of hookers not playing 80 minutes and hookers also suck in the last 2 or 3 years. He would be someone who's just a plonk in your team and forget about for most of the year at a not too bad price. But it doesn't work that way for him.
Yeah, good to see Brodie Jones back on the bench where he belongs. They were suffering with him at the prop. Storm, Pappenhausen. I brought him. Not happy we didn't play last week. That's when I actually needed him. That's actually why I ended up playing 13. But it is what it is. Interesting to see that they've rested their Origin stars. Oh no, they're on the extended bench. They'll probably play then if they make it through. Storm always do that.
Yeah, do you
What's
need
wrong
a
with
Jerome?
O'Callaghan?
He's back. Well, not back, but reserves. He had appendicitis and was out for a bunch of weeks. I thought it was going to be longer than this, actually.
What are you thinking of Joe Chan, mate?
No, I was just curious to see why the fuck Joe Chan was there. It was more my query.
What absolute weapon he was on the weekend.
They're actually having a bit of a backline crisis at the moment, eh?
Yeah.
Ulbricht's still a few weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Chan scored well enough in the centre, but he got absolutely burnt by Purdue. So they're going to want to get someone with a bit of lateral speed in there as soon as possible.
That'll be one. For somebody who's missing a few edges, Elias Katoa is a pretty good shout, right?
I think he's got to be the number one buy if you're looking for an edge.
Yeah.
Still under 700k.
Yeah, I mean, Young's on the buy, probably looking to move guys on this week, so it's a little bit annoying, and he's just so expensive with that. I did hear from somewhere, so not sure how reliable it is, that he said it was feeling good and he was back to feeling strong, like on the radio or something. But I mean, at that price, I still don't love him versus even somebody like an Angus Crichton instead of Elias Katoa. But Katoa, I think, is just a clear, safe, nice option.
I mean, when you're looking at the Roosters, it's how many do you want in your team?
I mean, they got no more buys, but like far out, it's starting to look very red.
Yeah. I mean, most of us already got 3 or 4. Savala's still not a sell. He's just doing his thing. You don't need to worry about him. Nawa, a lot of people brought back with the amount of injuries there was last week, and he doesn't have he plays the rest of it. Teddy's probably in most teams. So if you got a prop, you got one of the forwards in your team. I've seen a lot of people looking at Watson. They're just a very fantasy relevant team, aren't they?
Hmm.
I wouldn't talk anyone out of Angus, mate. 600k.
I like Angus. I think we'll get to him shortly, but I think Angus is actually a better buy than Katoa. Personally, I think Katoa is quite attacking stats heavy, which is good in an attacking heavy team. Not convinced, especially when Storm doesn't look as invincible as they have in previous seasons.
Yeah. Look, I sort of agree, but from some of the plays that Elias Katoa has pulled off in the last few weeks, like some of that jump and catch. Well, he sort of did it twice over the last few weeks. Looked amazing. I think he's going to be very good, but how close can Angus get for a lot cheaper is the question.
He has done that a couple times. He did it against the Sharks, but that's also because fucking Will Kennedy can't fucking jump for the life of him.
The other thing is, I'm pretty sure that he learnt that from Nanai. I'm just putting that out there. He must have been watching some footage.
Yes, you're a very relevant fantasy team.
Yeah.
I like Katoa, but I actually do think I'd rather either go up to a Preston, despite his shit score last week, or go down to an Angus Crichton.
I'm going to gatekeep Preston. Don't buy him.
Yeah, he got 29. He's actually fucking useless.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah. Probably the only other relevant guy to talk about in this team is Jerome Hughes. The gate's sort of closing on him, though, because he's the price of all the other pretty good options at the moment. Would you if you didn't have many halves, or Savala does start to bomb out because Walker starts to do more, would you consider a Jerome Hughes, considering how much money he's made now and
No,
how
you
the
missed the
Storm
boat.
doing?
You've well and truly missed the boat, in my opinion. Like,
Not when Fogarty's the same price.
he scored 4 tries in the last 3 games. Like, sorry, 4 tries in the last 4 games. My apologies. I think his scoring's inflated. He was good for being like a backup kind of, fringe top 17 when he was 500k. Now he's well and truly gone. I think that there's better halves you'd rather just spend up to. And really the only equivalent to him in your team is Savala, who we all got for fucking a fraction of the price. And there's no need to sell Savala at the moment.
If you brought him for the Cowboys game, which was the when you needed to buy him, you've done well. But he's not a buy now. Not when Fogarty's the
Cowboys
same
game
price.
was that 14 or 18?
14.
Yeah, well, that's when he started. He got that first double.
Yeah.
I think you well and truly missed the boat here.
Yeah. If Pappenhausen is late out again, I would probably wager he's not going to kick goals for a couple of weeks. Nick Meaney's not the right price, so don't go chasing that 90, in my opinion.
No, don't point to chase at this time of the year. That's silly. You don't have enough trades for that shit.
Yep. That's about it from that game. Dragons and Roosters. Some interesting talking points out of that one, and one of those talking points is that LKT needs to be kicked out of our teams.
So a couple of weeks ago, I got a bit of flack for this. I went LKT to Latu, and everyone's like sideways. And I'm like, no, not sideways. And I did it, and now LKT's being sold, and Latu's making fucking money. So I don't know what you're gonna do with Latu. What is he? 380, 370?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
he's the same
LKT.
price as him now.
Yeah. So I don't know what you're gonna do with LKT. Like he's not enough to upgrade to somebody. So you're gonna have to find someone to downgrade him to.
I think you have to go down to Fletcher Hunt, and if you need a half, you have to get a Cleary back or something.
I think that'd be a good move in my mind. I think.
What are you banking?
LKT,
150k? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you can do with that.
Like, as long as you don't need halves, and really you shouldn't need halves if Cleary's playing this week.
What is his break-even king to?
He's still pretty low.
25, so it's not the worst.
Oh, it's not the worst. It's not the bad. You can wait a week. I was just thinking, like, if you got no trades, or you got very few trades, you don't want a luxury trade an LKT down this week. You can wait till next week.
Who Cook is? I don't know how to read Cook because he played 80, didn't score that well. Emre Gula played 0 minutes. And who played on the edge? Who switched to the edge and played that full game? Was it Molo? It was really strange. The minutes rotation didn't make sense in my head. But if Cook continues to get 80, maybe I hold him. So I think I'll just wait and watch and see what happens with him this week. But if he doesn't, yeah, he's going to go out with the other guys.
Yeah, he's getting pretty close to getting rid of him. Like, he's done what we need him to do, pretty much, which is get us through the origin periods, so he can be sold. My concern is, at least in my team, if I sell him, I don't have a fucking backup hooker, and I'm relying on old Clark to not get injured or fall over or do anything. So I think it's gonna be a bit hard just because there's no real options if you miss Donahue, which I don't know how many of you guys did, but I sure as fuck missed Donahue.
Yeah, I did too.
I think there was only one person that got him in.
It seems like more people did get him than did because like amateurs were talking him up, and Jay-Z was on the pod all the time just saying, "Oh yeah, how good! I didn't think anything of him, and next thing I know, he scored like an average of 60 for me or something."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Watson is good, but I don't think you need him. And points wise in your team, I don't know if he's super valuable compared to the other guys, other than just being a backup hooker as well to give you peace of mind. So,
I mean, my question with Connor is how many minutes do you think he's going to play?
well, I'm actually decently confident that he'll play very good minutes because Iwelu was playing quite solid minutes off the bench at hooker, and Watson was moving to lock. The question is, will that continue now, or will that change and they'll switch Docker Clay back down? So I think I just answered my own question. The answer is beware of all the returns.
Yep. That's my thing, right? You've got Spencer coming back, you've got Collins coming back, you got Gus coming back, he's 80 minutes, Radley's coming back, he can play 55 minutes. I just don't know, assuming he doesn't get a head knock. I just don't know where his 70 minutes comes from. I think he ends up being a 60 to 65, and I don't think that's enough for Connor.
I'm actually with you there, Bryce. I don't think Connor's actually a go.
Yeah.
Because he does need more than 70. Like,
Yes.
he's not a PPM bis. He needs huge minutes, and I just don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's good enough at PPM, but you give Harry Grant 67 minutes a week, even in decent form, and he's not scoring 50.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think he's a buy. If you've got, I don't know, the duel's really handy. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. How good has Nala been, though? I'm so round one bye, and it was looking really rough at certain stages versus Herbie, but he's started to pay off that debt a little bit in the last few weeks.
Yeah, so Noah for me has taken over Garrick as the guy that I'm just going to hold to cover the wing fullback and center position for me. So yeah, I was going to probably sell Noah this week, but I'm selling Garrick instead.
Yeah, and I was talking to Ridley earlier before the beginning of the pod. Manly have the worst draw of any team to finish the season based on opponent's ladder position. They play an average of 6.5 for the run home, which is pretty yuck.
Panthers 16th, of course. Anybody else in this?
Not well, we
Angus,
talked about
really?
Angus a little bit. We talked about Angus a little bit, but the thing with Angus is mostly just get him some ball and attack, right? Like, because his base hasn't been too bad. He's just scored, I think, one try all year.
Does Fouquetti keep his minutes? Or is he going to lose it to Blake Steep?
I think you'll keep it. Oh, look, how many? Because Radley would take a lot, won't he?
I think Radley plays 55.
I think
55 to 60.
I think Fouquetti might get hurt a little bit, but he'll just keep that spot until Wong eventually gets back. How far's Wong off? Isn't he like another 2-3 weeks or something?
He's still got a
He's-
bit to go. So I'm actually a Fekete enjoyer. I've had him for the last 3 weeks.
Nice.
So one of the few things I've done right in my life, it's owning Fekete.
I grabbed him last week. He
Yeah, fuck
he done
you,
well.
it's about me. No, yeah, he's been a good buy. He's done a lot for not a lot of coin, which is actually really good.
Fuck, he made 50k last week.
Yeah.
He's going good, and he's doing
Yeah.
it in a simple way.
I think he'll be good until round 22, round 23. Nat Butcher, round 22, and Wong, round 23. Then I think is the time to basically make your final upgrade kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he'll be like let's just say sort of low 500Ks in a nice ideal situation. And you can use that plus a little bit of cash to get somebody you want.
Yeah, you got to try and save some trades between then and now, though. It's going to be fucking rough.
Maybe that's even this week for me. Origin watch, but yeah. Last year, Angus. Let's just go back to Angus for a second. Last year, Angus had 43 in base when he was playing at the edge, and this year he has like 42 and a half. It's like exactly the same. The main difference is 2024. He had 0.6 tries a game, 0.3 try assists, 0.4 line breaks, and this year he has 0.1, 0.1, and 0.4. So basically, he's just not getting good ball with this other halves partnership. And I'd say if Walker is going to be more dominant and Savala's just not changing the team dynamic too much, he'll go back to sort of mid 50s rather than 50.
He struggled last year coming out of Origin. Like he got a bunch of scores in the low mid 40s. If I remember, because I owned him.
He did, yeah, he did actually a little bit. Yes, round 20 was okay versus Storm, but then 40, 38, 47. Yeah.
75 with 3 tries. Yeah, well,
Maybe he's a watch then this week instead of a straight up purchase.
he is cheap enough though just to buy. Like I'm not talking anybody out of buying him. 600k for an absolute gun like Angus Crichton that can race away to 750. If you want him, then buy him. But yeah, I don't need him, so I'm quite happy just to watch.
There's the return of Hamish Stewart on the bench, which basically means if you've held so far, you need to get rid of him because you'll lose even more money. But everybody should have probably got rid of him a week or two ago.
If they had trades.
If they had trades. That's pretty much it, hey. People sold Bradley when he got concussed. Yeah, that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Who do we reckon's going to win that one? Especially if some of these players don't back up. I'd say Roosters, but if they don't back up, might keep it a little closer. Because, I mean, the Dragons pushed the Raiders a bit, but I think that was partially because the Raiders just switched off. To Ricky panicking and putting Tarpanay back on with 6 minutes to go was all-timer.
Yeah. I think Roosters got enough about him.
Yeah, there's not a lot to be excited about, especially with the amount of injuries add to their incoming forward pack.
I think there may only be 2 spots between them on the ladder, but that's a big gap.
All right, round 19, your Cows, Bryce, versus the Doggies. The Doggies do have a bit of a change. Galvin does drop back to the bench. Burton back into the halves. Karaz back on the right wing. Tuala comes on at the wing as well. Montoya's out for about 6 weeks, I think, with an injury. Can't remember what it is.
Before we get into the fantasy stuff, what are you guys' actual takes on this whole Galvin situation at the Dogs?
I reckon it was really dumb. I just don't think they should have. I don't think they should have done it this year. They bring Galvin on when Reed Marnie goes off, and then they change thing and they put Sexton at hooker. I just don't know why they were going to disrupt a halves combination that had led them to the top of the ladder. Yeah, some people are like, oh, you can't win a grand final with that halves combination, but they were doing a pretty good job. Like, I don't really see why they needed to blow it up so early. Why did they need to get that immediate release?
I'm with you entirely. I think it's been a bit of a clusterfuck, and it's really derailing their season. Like, they just look a little more vulnerable, and they just can't quite seem to ice the games as easily.
it's going to take Lachlan time to learn how the Bulldogs way, or whatever you want to call it. Matt Burton looked dangerous on that in the centre role though. Like, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't think they should have done it mid-season either. I think they should have played out this year and then set up for next. I think them letting Sexton go is fucking stupid with how good he's playing.
I can't believe he's gone to the Super League and not to another NRL team.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much he actually wants to be paid. He might have priced himself out of NRL clubs.
Yeah, well, especially because it's it's for next year. There's not that many clubs fooling around with a bunch of cash.
Yeah,
And those that are have actually like the Dolphins who have a crap ton of cash. They don't need Sexton.
no, they're not looking for a half. So yeah, he might have just priced himself out of a seat somewhere.
Not cheap enough to be really discount, but not good enough to. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, like, and they was like, Raiders might have been a thing with Fogarty leaving, but then I think they've got plans to bring someone in. They just signed Clifford, who is Clifford. We obviously think Tom Dearden's our 7 going forward, and we're going to put all our eggs into that basket. So we're not interested in Toby Sexton.
What do you think of that? Because I'm still think the jury's out on saying Dearden's a 7.
I think he's going to be an amazing 7. Yeah, he just needs some time. He's still really young. He's still a kid.
You sound like me talking about Hines 3 years ago.
Yeah, except Dearden played his entire fucking life in the halves, and Hines was a fullback, right? So
no, Hines played halfback in juniors.
So it'd be interesting to see. I want to see Drinkwater move from fullback next year.
Or 2-6.
Yeah. I think we've got an amazing fullback in the making. He's just obviously done his ACL this year, so we didn't get to see much of him. But I think that guy needs to be our fullback. Drinkwater needs to move to 6.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
as far as this game goes, I think it's going to go one of two ways. The Bulldogs will get it down dirty, and it'll be like a 18-20 sort of, or maybe even a 16-18 game, right? It'll just be really tough, though. Or one of the teams is just going to get blown away. And I don't think the Bulldogs have got it in them to just blow the Cowboys away. So, yeah.
They do look better with Clifford in the halves, especially for Drinkwater.
Yeah. Yeah, Drinkwater loves a Cliff Dog in the team for some reason. I guess he just knows what he's going to get. It also depends on what Robert Derby rocks up. If we get Butterfingers Derby, then we're just going to hand the game to the Bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Will they pepper Braden Burns instead? Will we get Burton Bombs on that side of the field?
Who's he going? No, they'll kick. Oh yeah, because Kira's will be that side. They'll probably kick to Kira's. Yeah, be interesting to see. As far as fantasy goes, anybody interesting anywhere?
I mean, with the Clifford back in the halves, I think Drinkwater's a lot nicer. But would you really pick him now in this run home over like a Latrell or a Dylan Edwards if Cleary is hampered and he gets goals and more involvement? I don't know if you would, so probably not.
No, you want to spend up on a gun now. Like Drinkwater could get you, like he's got back-to-back 60s, but that's like a lot of tries, and that's what Drinkwater relies on. He's 550k, so he's not expensive, but
yeah, I wouldn't be buying Drinkwater at this point. To be honest, he's been so inconsistent this year. There's other wing fullbacks I've been looking at, and the other thing is now you're getting to this point where his most useful period, which is always Origin, has now come to an end, and what's coming from here on out is him having a bye in the very last round.
Yeah,
that draw's pretty good though.
I wasn't buying Drinkwater at all at this point. If you own him, you hold him all the way through now.
Yeah.
If you don't own him, probably I'd actually be tempted to say consider yourself a bit lucky and call it a day. Whereas
You got to want to loop him every week. I'll say that if you
That's the
can, you
thing.
gotta want to loop him.
Yeah,
I
You
can't.
don't know
I
what you
might loop
need.
him with Jetty Stewart. See how that
they've
goes.
they've
Oh,
got a
there you
good
go.
run from about round 21 for about a month. He'd be really playable there, but for this week against Dolphins next week and then Broncos as well, even against Cronulla, if Cronulla actually show up by then, you definitely probably want to loop so you don't get another 20 or something.
I will
I'm
say,
actually,
Cows have a
okay.
bad record against Cronulla, so game to be.
Yeah, and for some reason, all the Drinkwater's low scores happen in Townsville as well. So, yeah, all these like under 20 scores, they come in Townsville.
Yeah, so I think we can all agree then, avoid if you don't own them.
Yeah, don't buy.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd be more tempted to buy Fletcher Hunt than I'd be to buy Scotty Drinkwater.
I think Fletcher.
Yeah, it's a role filling and it's a massive difference in role, but I kind of agree there. I Yeah, I'm struggling to find many other people to buy this week. I mean, Preston's just come off a low one. You probably want to wait and jump on cheaper, or just use somebody else like Angus. Kickout's good, but he's gone up enough in price that I'm just don't care anymore.
Yeah, his money's gone.
I wouldn't buy him this week just because he's got a bit of a higher BE, but you just can't look past Carraz.
Yeah, Kira's a good idea.
I still want him in my team, but I think I'm going to have to forego him because all he's going to do is be a cover for my wing fullback and centre that I actually play every week in my interchange, which I don't really like the idea of. So I think I'm going to have to let him go to the keeper for the rest of the
I mean,
season.
he's a wing fullback that's averaging 56, though.
He is, but again, I just don't like the idea of having a wing fullback or centre playing in my goddamn bench.
If I ended up with enough, like if I end up being able to save enough trades, it's going to be Drinkwater to Kiros.
Oh, that would be really, really
But
tempting.
that's luxury, and I need to have the trade through. We'll see what happens.
Also, you need the money because then again, Drinky's lost a bit
That's
of cash.
150. It's 150k. So I've got
Some
a
of us
couple
still
of.
need to buy Haas like myself. They need to
Well,
find
that's
the
just
1
that's a
million.
personal problem, brother.
I
It is
actually don't
indeed.
know whether I'd buy Haas until I see that his back is kind of fully fine because like he's still like managing to do crazy things while he's semi-injured. Just look at that Origin game and that backup game. But I just don't want him to suddenly snap and just be broken.
I must say, I'm willing to take that risk that after having not owned him for the entire season, I think it's time to just bite the bullet and buy him.
You know, I'm
After
gonna
their
have to,
buy.
I'm probably gonna have to cash down Latifanu at some point. So that's gonna give me some money. It's just about how many of my absolute guns die. I've got Reed Mining still kicking around. That I'm quite happy just to get rid of him at any point and just just go with Aaron Clark as my hooker. I've got Joel, but I'm going to turn him into Isaiah Yeo in the near future. Fiketti's going to have to come out of my team. So I do have a few players that need to be moved on at some point.
Yeah.
So upgrading a Drinkwater or even Pappenhausen to Kiros is on the cards.
It's wild that Reed Marnie turned out to be a better buy than Cook, despite that huge minute scare.
Yeah, I owe him an apology. I was really dirty on him, and it was basically just because of the round 12 game. Right, I brought him for that game, and he comes out and gets me a 36. But since then, he's averaged 50 pretty much.
Yep.
So I can't. His break even's now 36, so he's even going to make me some money over the next few weeks. I'm just going to milk him out.
Yeah, there you go. How cheap is Galvin going to be next year, though? It's going to be pretty good.
Lockie?
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be 2 cheap halves next year. You're going to have Galvin and Atkinson.
Yeah, be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. They'll probably throw 450k price tags on them, mate. 500k price tags on them because it's Fail Hub.
They can't, mate. They've actually been playing the entire year just off the fucking bench.
Yeah, it's Fail Hub, mate.
Yeah, it's Fail Hub. I don't know if there's somebody else who they're also going to wreck the price of. I can't remember who it is, but we'll see if we can find them later. Any more on that? Should we move to the Sunday games?
Not on the Cowboys game, but No. Go the Cowboys.
The Cowboys. All right. Warriors have a sweeping raft of changes because of injuries. Poor Metcalf blew his ACL, same knee that he did about 5 years ago. CNK's out, but I don't think for as long. So we did end up with a change in Tuapiki at fullback. Tanner Boyd comes in at 7 after all the debate as to which one it would be. It ended up being Boyd. Tamari Martin's on the bench. That's about it for the. Oh no, Dallon's back. So Dallon's back on the wing. Shock name after. I think it was supposed to be out for like 6 to 8. It's only been about like 3 or 4 or something. So he's back. Halasima is starting, and Laban's bench. I think Laban and Halasima are just taking turns at this point.
Roll swapping. Tanner Boyd, I've seen some chatter around him. Doesn't have the hooker duel, so that takes a bit of the shine away from that he had last year.
Yeah.
500k is also a bit of an awkward price.
He's also just not that good.
Well, he averages 50, man. It's like you can't.
Well, I can't say for sure that he's not doing good at the moment because the Warriors Cup side has won like 11 straight or something with him and TMM in it. But look, I think somebody from Amateurs Discord summed it up. He was a beginning of season buy. At this point, when we've got a lot of role players in our team that are either cash outs or final team guns, I don't think he quite fits anywhere at 497k.
He also averages 45 at halfback, not 50. So let's like he's priced at 37. Like there's no reason to buy him at. As you say, he just doesn't have any role at this.
Yeah, it's just rough. Just the chatter I've seen, mate.
Yeah.
Tuapiki, probably not.
No, I think it's only about a month until CNK's back. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind it. When is CNK back? Around 21, so it's not even that long. Yeah, they've still got Dallin there, around 22 in casualty ward, but he's back. So who knows? Been some really weird injury returns this year, really ahead of schedule. Like Carraz and Campbell have been the ones that have done me in. I've sold both a week before they came back after holding. So I don't know. Doctors have got some extra magic on their hands this year or something.
Tigers side. No Jack Bird, so he's definitely can go fuck off to the Shadow Realm. Get out of my team.
I knew that Jack Bird had the potential to be a trap, but I didn't think look, I shouldn't have been surprised that the reason Jack Bird was a trap is because he got injured, because that's exactly what Jack Bird does. But yeah, I mean, 45, I was really happy with that when I jumped on early because I needed that one in that week, and it just screwed me over instead.
Yep.
Next week, and then Ronnie's still got him this week.
Yep. Good. So,
how long's Buller going for?
Are you looking at Taruva?
I'm just curious.
Round 21.
Yeah, so
that 20 that 29 he got expired. You did it. In a team that scored 30 points, their fullback got 29.
Mate, something's calling to me about him.
Yeah, right.
Fletcher Sharp would be again. Fletcher Hunt.
You should be looking at Charlie Staines, mate. His last 2 rounds, he's averaged 49.
Mate, I had a mate tell me that he actually really rates Charlie Staines.
The Forbes
Man
Ferrari.
must be the only person who rates Charlie Staines. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, Luai's back this week. Coruscant's back this week, so they returned from having a spine that had 0 players that they had there starting the year. They managed to beat the Tigers though, which was interesting. Both had a lot of outs, but I was really impressed by the Tigers' attitude that it wasn't just going to roll over and have 50 million points put on them. We'll see what happens this week against Warriors.
Where's
you brought Tristan Hope? Where's who? May.
Yeah, the other May.
He's probably still just getting ready to come back, man. He hasn't played for a couple of years.
Yeah, if he was gonna play by now, he would have given the outs. So yeah. I think it'll be next year.
Yep. How good did Tristan Hope go for those? Picked him up, fucking killed it.
Did he get like 59 or something?
Yeah, he absolutely killed it, man. Yep, good score. And now you've got he's going to be anti fantasy madness, playing 10 minutes. Not that he's got any money in him, but yeah.
No, he'll probably make 10, 15K this week anyway with his break even, but yep.
Eels Panthers. What do we got going on here?
I saw a stat the other day which I was surprised at because it always seems like the Eels take this one to like last minute field goal or lose by 40, a bit like the Storm. But they all actually seem to be like sort of 10, 12 points. So like a grinding win by the Panthers, and the Eels like try, but they not as dramatic as some of the ones I remember back in like 2020, 2021.
Is it anybody interesting in this game at all you're looking at buying?
Not even a little bit.
Well, no, because the Panthers are all on the bench. All of the
Yep.
Panthers' origin stars are sitting down in 22, 23, 24. Like Cleary, Edwards, Tottenham, Martin, Yo, all down there. I'm not going to buy any with confidence this week. I was thinking about Yo, but I just don't think I can unless stuff happens in the correct order, which is tough. And, well, yeah, it's about it, really.
I thought you had a secret suspicion about Dylan Edwards that you want to
I
talk us
do,
through.
I do. I keep forgetting he's not named though. But yeah, if Cleary does look like he's hampered in Origin and he gives away the kicking too, I am actually pretty keen on Dylan Edwards. I was talking to Rudley just before we started. The Panthers' next 5 teams are the bottom 5 teams on the ladder, like the actual bottom 5. It cannot get any better for them. Well, now that they actually look like they're not too bad of a football team, they're not quite the Panthers of old, especially in attack. But against this bottom 5, somebody is going to start going monstrous. And if Cleary isn't fully fit and not kicking goals, Dylan Edwards could rack up a lot of points.
I was going to say, mate, the bottom 5 are probably looking at the Panthers, think we can get a W here. like,
well, this week if all these guys are out, surely. But yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Panthers are back now. I think the whole meme about the Panthers being bad is well and truly over at this point. They've made their way back into the finals, and they're going to be well and truly on their way to a 5-peat if they just keep this up. So
their defense is like 9 out of 10 compared to normal Premiership Penrith. Their attack's probably only like 6.5, 7, but it'll get there with these weaker teams.
yeah, they'll build it up. They'll do what they need to do, and they'll be firing come the end of the year. So scary to think about, to be honest.
Absolutely wild, considering they were dead last only about 6 weeks ago.
I keep linking that to B, mate. Don't you worry. Titans. Anybody bringing in Jaden?
Okay, just before we go into the players, did you guys see the news that, or the rumors that Des Hasler is retiring end of the year?
Yeah, well, he might not get it. He's probably his contract's not going to be extended, man.
Well, it's not going to be extended, but I just find that surprising that he's going to retire.
Well, he's no spring chicken, mate.
Fair enough. I'll shut the fuck up then. My apologies.
I suppose we're just like used to seeing the 70-year-old Bennetts and Bellamy's hanging around.
Like Dazzler's 64. He's
that old. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, Dazzler's 64. He's not surprised me one little bit, really, that he's going to retire.
Just me that was surprised then.
Yeah, I think you thought he was a little bit younger than that, yeah.
I did indeed think he was low 50s, to be honest.
I mean, look at his flowing locks, mate. The guy's fucking, yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. I did not realize he was 64.
Okay, so back to the fantasy then, I guess. Jaden Campbell.
Stuff.
Jaden Campbell surely is like one of the big targets of everyone, and just hoping he doesn't get injured for the rest of the season.
100%. Like it was only a head knock watch, went off really early, missed a week, missed a bye. All those little tiny niggles that he may have been carrying, because Jaden Campbell is one of those players that you're always worried is made of glass, will have had a chance to get better, and now he's there. I think he's just a straight up buy at that price. Just get him.
So for me, I've got a choice to make this week. I've got Herbie currently in my team, but I could get any of these guys. I could get Jaden Campbell. I could get Kiraz. So it is rough. I will probably pick Herbie over Jaden, just on the basis that I think Jaden's got one more injury in him before the end of the year.
Oh, I mean, it's not impossible, but don't say that. Don't say that.
He what do you normally plays? Five-ish? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he played 5 games, got injured, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so he plays about 5 or 6 games, and then he gets injured. So I think he's got one more in him.
Just please don't make it round 27. Just
Like,
limit that.
I'm loving this analysis of just going through and counting his injuries.
Yeah, dude, just count his games. And it's like, oh, yeah.
It's like, I'm not playing Jaden Campbell because he'll be missing round 27 with Drinkwater.
He's probably going to be gone. Sharky's game, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be around that point.
This is the high quality analysis.
Oh, man.
It's this podcast for.
We talk about Jaden Campbell injury predictions, and we talk about Des Hasler's hair.
Yeah, dude. Like, as Jay-Z says, mate, it's all about the vibes, and the vibe is that Campbell will be injured for the Sharks game.
I can't argue with this logic. It's flawless.
I remember the person who I thought was going to be price adjusted next year. That's going to be David Fafita. He's going to drop a lot if he continues to do anything from the bench.
You reckon he actually gets some minutes off the bench, or you reckon they're just going to let him sit there like a mascot?
I have no idea, but I mean, he's 670K with coming back from a long injury, and the club's not super happy with him and all that sort of jazz and drama. And even no time this year has he actually played 80 minutes. Even in the 2 games he started second row, he didn't play the full game. So I think we're going to get a lot cheaper.
I fully expect them to give him a blow-up sword and shield and just tell him to sit on the sideline.
How much do you think that David Fafita not playing big minutes is Hasler? Or how much do you think of it?
All of it.
Club? You think
it's all of it, man. Yeah, he's the coach, bro. If he even if he he knows he's not going to get a contract next year, he's probably retiring. Why would he give a flying fuck what other people at the club said? If he wanted to play David Fafita big minutes, he'd play David Fafita big minutes.
I think it was 6 weeks ago. Fafita was cleared to play and said, I want to work on it, make sure it's right. Granted, he did about 2 weeks later then go and have clean-out surgery, but it just sort of does speak to the fact that there's a clash and it's not working.
Yeah. Dad's probably asked him to do his job. It's probably a bit hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if
anyone in the Titans is actually a buy,
Well,
Jaden Campbell.
Other than Campbell, I mean,
Tino.
Tino's the big one. Tino, when his sternum is fixed, will go back up a lot. I think there was one of Hudson Young or Tino was on the radio this morning saying he felt good and was all fixed, and the other one was some floating rumor that came from somewhere and I can't verify. But if Tino is fit again, at what do you see, about 600K now or something, 640? Yeah,
640
with a big break even. So if he looks good this week, backing up from Origin, I reckon he's a really good target moving forward for your mids, because he can get close to competing with your Carrigans and your Yos and all that, and your AFBs for really, really cheap. And I wouldn't mind that.
So you'll know Wednesday whether if that chest is good.
Yes.
Like he's gonna come out and give absolutely everything he's got for Queensland to try to win that trophy. You'll know whether that chest is okay. You'll be able to see it, and then you wait probably another week or so if it is good, because you just want that break even to bring him down some more money. So yeah, he's not an urgent buy, but he's definitely someone you need to look at round 21.
I guess we should just talk about the last team for the weekend then. And the absolute GOAT that's on that team, Shibasaki.
Look, it's a good story, but they've been hammering it up in Queensland Like, it's like, oh, he's on a development contract all the way to Origin stardom. La la la. It's been pretty funny. There's a Supercoach podcast that basically said he's the young GI at the start of the year, and
Oh my
it's
god.
the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. But yeah, I mean, Shiv's
What a
doing
joke.
great. He's kind of been Nawa. He's like, oh, do you sell him? Do you don't? Yeah, and he's just continued to be good.
He's priced at 574k. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Noah's 650, so he's like Wish.com Noah. But yeah, he's just same thing. One person we probably should chat about is Reece Walsh.
Do we have
I think if you've only got the 530k and you can't afford a gun, Walsh is your play.
I've actually got
Honestly.
a better shout than that. He's 230k and he also plays wing fullback.
Yeah, no.
It's Fletcher
Walsh
Hunt.
is obviously a big step up above Fletcher Hunt, mate. Like
is he? Again,
he
prior
is,
to
man.
Look,
the last few weeks, he was not that actually.
You're about to get muted.
I like Reece Walsh from the price perspective, but again, I still don't know if I'm mega happy playing him every week. But the run is pretty good. They
He's
do
run
play
home
Melbourne.
Yeah.
They
Melbourne twice.
apart from playing Melbourne twice, their run is really nice.
Well, they
And
really only play Melbourne.
Round 27, yeah, they might actually rest. So
Yeah. They really only play Melbourne once because Melbourne seem to always rest round 27. So
I don't think he should be getting Walsh. Putting aside his inconsistency, which is a big put aside, he's also going to buy next week. His B's on the lower end. He's going to be priced up a little bit more when you go buy him in round 22. Then you're going into a couple rougher games. Like
going into the Parramatta Eels and South Sydney are rougher games.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the ones after that, which is Melbourne and Dolphins.
Yeah, Queen's Forex Derby. You can't say that's a rough game. They're going to probably come out and curb stomp the Dolphins in that.
I don't know, man. I'm not as convinced. I don't see it for Walsh, man. Like honestly, I think it's just a bit of a punt too far.
There's an
Ben Hunt at 9.
There's an automatic red flag because it's Reece Walsh. But I mean, once that red flag has already been put up and you look past that, Reece Walsh is Reece Walsh, and he's looked pretty good now that since he's come back. He's sort of not. Well, I can't exactly say stopped throwing errors, but he isn't being quite as mental as he was earlier in the year when he was like 2, 4, 5 errors.
That's what was killing him. Like the errors, the silly mistakes he was making was taking away the momentum from the team. I like him as a player, in like a fantasy player to buy. I mean, he's also got really good eyes. So.
Oh man, if I was going to buy a player that had good eyes, I'd be buying Cam Murray, not fucking.
Mate, he's not even playing. You can't even choose him.
I don't care. I'd still buy him over Reece Walsh.
So
news. 200k red dot.
Who was the? Was there a prop that went down?
Yes, Jensen's out for 6 weeks. So that sort of leads me into my next point. If Payne-Haas has got a back complaint that he's managing, and Jensen's gone, who takes those minutes? Is Willison just going to play big minutes like he did last week, or is Carrigan going to start to bulk up again?
I think Xavier comes in, takes 60 minutes.
They've shown that he is their next man up for big minutes a few times this year.
He played well last week.
Oh man, he's been phenomenal this year. Really, he's overshadowed by the fact he's in the same team as Payne-Haas. But Xavier Willison has been.
He's someone you need to watch.
74 in 68 minutes last week. So look, if we just say Jensen's out for 6, and we say Haas is not going to play monster minutes. Like sure, 60, but he's not going to have like those 74-minute games or anything when the Broncos are in a tight one because of his back. What do we think Willison's going to get? Will he get 50 plus? Will he get 55 minutes?
Can't see why not.
Should we actually be looking at him then?
No, because we've got guns. Yeah. Like this is like who are you going to trade to get him? that's my thing with this. This is someone, if you're 10K, 15K, and you want to have a gamble, you don't have a 15, 14 and a half, $15 million squad. You need someone cut price. That's what you're looking at Willison for. We don't need him, man.
Describe him similar to how you described Tanner Boyd. If this was round one,
Yeah.
I would have started with him.
Yeah.
But it's at this point in the year, he's not going to be a keeper.
Yeah.
So he's not really going to be doing much for your team. But
You got to watch him make 300. You watch him make 300K by the time they play Melbourne.
Watch him. He'll be the next $1 million player.
I
Talking out of my ass.
reckon there's a chance he does get a 50 average from here, but it's still not going to quite be up the top. It's really rough to let him go because he's going to ruin all chances price being all right for next year too.
I say there's only one way that I'd say David Willison is a buy this week, and that's if Jay-Z's trading him in.
Yeah.
Oh,
he needs the Jay-Z juice.
Jay-Z juice. Just imagine he's like, I don't know, trading Tarpanay because of his terrible minutes to Willison and using that to fund some other crazy gun. Just book it in.
Should we even talk about that? Just I know there's a fair few people who are interested in selling Tarpanay. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Why?
That's a great call. That's actually my exact one as well. But
so you're selling him because he got a 49 and a 37 in the last 2 games? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not selling him, mate. I'm just saying there's a lot of people talking about selling him, and we haven't touched
so
on he's on buy.
His minutes have dropped since round 13, 43, 50, 48, 53, and then at the 29 last week with the busted finger. But they will come back.
I'm with you exactly. I don't think there's much need to sell them. I think if you were a person who had more than 5 trades, you could maybe afford the luxury trades, but I still wouldn't see. And the only reason I'd suggest that is just because he has a buy this week. And
who are you trading him to?
But yeah, that's the thing. Who are you trading to him? There's not that.
So
many
you're gonna have to be bringing in a Yo. Maybe use him to get back to Haas. That's probably okay.
Yeah.
But you're going to one of them top tier, them 2 guns. Yeah. Everyone's still got May in their team.
And even Haas, I'd probably say Tarpanay to Haas wouldn't be justified because you're still trading. You're trading Tarpanay's 2 buys for Haas's 1 buy.
Yeah.
So you need someone else. I think there's very few cases where you could justifiably trade out Tarpanay.
Because you're gonna want to have 4 gun mids, and it's gonna probably be Haas, May, Yo, Tarpanay, AFB. Who else is gonna Tino? That's gonna be like the 6 players. You're gonna have a combination of 4 of those. I reckon maybe 5 if you're that way inclined.
Colo as well.
Yeah, but Colo is he's a bit interesting. I'm a little bit more worried about Colo than I am about Tarpanay.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Just that 60-minute game. The week before that, 69. I think he ends up probably losing some minutes in the near future.
Interesting take. Anything you want to add on that, Scoop?
Nah, you've made me a little bit. Well, I shouldn't worry about him. I don't own him in any format. But yeah, the super coaches are panicking hard. But I'm interested to hear the fantasy side of it too.
I don't think
on Colo.
Sorry, not on Colo. On Tarpanay.
On Tarpanay, okay.
Colo, I was a bit eyebrow raised that he did move to edge a bit.
Yeah.
So monitor moving forward, and considering he's got a couple buys, it's a bit yuck. But I can't tell anything until he's got through this buy, so moot point.
Yeah, we just got to wait till next week and see what happens. It's the same with Aiken, right? We don't actually know really anything other than he's got a leg injury.
Yeah, fuck Aiken.
So, did you sell him?
Yeah. I did sell him because when I saw it was a leg injury undefined, and I'm like, he misses 3 games from now on this week, round 19 and round 25. If it's any more than that as well, after he's been a bit blech lately, he's just straight out last week.
Yeah, I would have sold Aiken last week if Kuraz wasn't fucking 18th man.
See, Aiken's another chance for me to bring in, if he does end up being dodgy, to bring in a Jaden Campbell or a Kiraz. Because I realistically use an Aiken as edge centre cover at the end of the day because you'll get that centre duel, hopefully.
Imagine if they still don't give it to him because he's moved back to second row by then. It'd be the biggest rort in history.
Well, everyone seems to have a lot of faith in Fail Hub will do the right thing, but
Does this mean
We'll
he'll
see.
keep the DPP next year?
should.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything else to add, boys?
No, I think that about wraps it up. And Shibasaki, the GOAT, to lead Queensland to the promised land.
I actually think Queensland are a really good shout tomorrow.
I think someone's getting sent off tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope it's the fucking ref.
Well, he is your 14th man on the field, so there's a chance of that, mate.
But I think he might have been watching a very different game last Origin match than I was.
You bunch of grubs in the first half. That's weird. The blue penalties.
What Billy's specifically trying to prevent against that by not picking Horse so he doesn't punch someone in the face.
Still very salty about Horse not being named in the team, mate. Like,
I think Billy has tried to create narratives from thin air so that we get Queensland spirit, because the first two games have been pretty until the last 30 minutes when it got interesting. Like the lead up for this year's Origin was pretty nothing compared to last year. Now game 3 is pretty interesting, so we'll see how it goes.
Can I just say, the reason I'm so annoyed that Queensland haven't chosen Horsburgh was all I want is to see Horsburgh and Hudson Young punching on. Like,
you just got to go down to Raiders training, mate.
Just go down to Raiders will be the first one throwing fucking punches in that.
Look, the fact that you've got Josh Kerr and that in the squad and the Horse isn't there, just
it's a
devastating.
It says a lot.
I think it's really says a lot about how bad Blues have been to not have put this away already. Like,
Game 2 was really, really weird.
It was a good match to watch, but
it was great to watch. But yeah, I think they just thought they were going to win, and they just was like, oh no, Queensland.
I've never seen so many missed goals in a state of origin. I just don't understand what the fuck Kles and Lomax. Anyway,
yeah,
I think tomorrow's going to be an interesting night to watch.
Even just for goal kicking.
Yeah, even just for goal kicking. Any final thoughts then?
No, mate.
Yeah,
Queensland
last one.
for the win.
Thanks for listening
to Super League.